Hello and welcome to Overseas Leafs Report. It's the Boxing Day edition. Hey, I hope everyone had a good Christmas day, indulging in copious amounts of food and drink. It's always tradition that go for a bit of a Boxing Day run, so this year's no different. The main difference, I'm wearing the Leafs jersey today, and I thought I'd bring you along for a slight jog. We'll see how long we go. Stop at different points along the way to recap the Leafs' recent games and see how it all went.
Beginning workout.
So the Leafs came home at the end of their trip through Florida for a practice before the game versus New Jersey. Lots of conversation pre-game about the special teams. Thought we might see Garrett Sparks in net for this one, but it actually went back to Freddie Anderson, who I'm sure is looking for an improvement over his recent games. Relatively choppy start to the game with both teams taking penalties. Leafs worked well post-penalty and opened the scoring on a 3-on-1. Quickly increased that lead with Matthews pushing his way towards the goal and built up a 2-goal lead. Still in the first, Marleau capitalized on a turnover and jammed it in. And with that goal, he's now 30th all-time, equaling the Rocket Richard. New Jersey got one back with 96 seconds left in the period, but it was still a pretty good period for the Leafs. Early in the second, it looked like New Jersey came back with a vengeance, but Tavares and Marner came back off a Hall giveaway to build up the lead to 4-1. Power play showed some promise and variation, but it was still 0 for 3 midway through the game. Popped one more with 0.8 seconds to go. Riley battled his guy behind the net, raced up the ice, and fired a shot past Kincaid. We started the third period with Mackenzie Blackwood in net. Bit of a mercy pull for Keith Kincaid. Whole period was just a formality. He sure got one for the Devils with 5 minutes to go, but the fourth line for the Leafs got that one back about 2 minutes later. Plus one more with 1:30 to go. It's nice to see Ennis rack up 2 goals. Touchdown Leafs! After that game, of course, Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews make their grand performance with the National Ballet and the Nutcracker. Just a couple photos of that. All right, so the next game up versus Florida started off the long homestand for the Leafs. A good opportunity for them to rematch against the Panthers after losing in OT versus Sasha Barkov and the Panthers, I guess, in Florida. Hyman's injured. So Brown moved up to the GTA line, and Gautier's taken the center ice position on the fourth line. Ozhiganov also a late scratch. I was surprised to see Marincin inserted instead of Hall. Leafs spent the first period throwing everything at the net, while Luongo was making all the necessary solid saves to keep his team right in there. That was until Ekblad took a penalty in front of the net, and the anemic Leafs power play, 0 for 17 in the last 4 games, went to work. Austin Matthews picked up a great cross pass to beat Luongo before the end of the period. Leafs kept building upon their lead in the second. Goals by Matthews, Kadri, who had a goal overturned, but then a great one that counted 2-on-1 with Connor Brown, and killing a few penalties. Anderson quietly was having himself a great night. In the third, a power play goal by John Tavares, and another one even strength. Spelled the end for Roberto Luongo. Fans gave Reimer a standing ovation. Not sure it was entirely honest. I think it was more along the lines of remember who you are, and our team's having a great night. Panthers got one back to ruin the shutout on the power play with Johnsson in the box. The Leafs added one more on the power play through Mitch Marner, trying to set up his buddies for the hat trick. Hometown advantage was apparent in this one, you know, especially when it came to line matching. You saw how it didn't work out so well for the Leafs in Florida. Barkov was not nearly as noticeable as the previous game, and the Leafs had control of the matchups each time. Also, the Leafs' top offensive players were excellent in this one. Austin Matthews with 2 goals, 2 assists. John Tavares with 2 goals. Morgan Riley with 4 assists. And Mitch Marner had 1 goal, 2 assists. Another great chance for the Leafs to bank some points. First, an opponent heading south in the standings. Rangers came in and put a Belarusian goalie I had never heard of, Alexander Georgiev. And the Leafs took advantage on the first shot. Bit of a fluky goal even, where Riley shot it in from the blue line. The shot might have even been going wide of the net. And Marleau just coasting by, put his stick on it, and deflected it in. Leafs' instruction was probably to shoot as many times as possible, and they definitely followed that in the first period. In the second period, they benefited from a full 4-minute power play with Adam McQuaid picking up 2 minors on the same play, including ragdolling Nazem Kadri to the ice. But Georgiev was sharp and made multiple saves. Leafs were already at 20 shots midway through the game. And as the Leafs kept coming with the shot, it was the Rangers who equalized with 5 minutes to go in the period and lots of traffic in front of the net. They even came close to take the lead right before the end of the period with a missed tap-in on the left side of Freddie Anderson. In the third, the floodgate of goals opened up with Janssen then Reiling potting in goals for to build up a 3-1 lead. Rangers wouldn't go away though and came back with a goal of their own. At 3-2, Marner made some spectacular moves and build up what seemed like a comfortable cushion. Not too quick again. Rangers brought it back to 4-3 with 3:42 to go to set up for a hot finish. Pulled the goalie and had their chance before Marner stripped the puck off the D and went in all alone to push the puck into the empty net and secure the win. Another good result for the Leafs at home. Maybe some concern given that they let the Rangers stick around for a little bit too long. 0 for 2 on the power play. Mitch Marner was the star of this game. Another game on the following night before the holiday break had the Red Wings rolling in. Sparks versus Bernier in nets, along with several other lineup changes for the Leafs. Trevor Moore making his NHL debut in place of Tyler Ennis, who's injured, and Justin Hall getting his shot on D alongside Travis Dermott. Lots of line changes as a result. Notably, you've got Matthews with Nylander and Kapanen to start the game. 27 seconds in and the puck's already in the Detroit net. Nylander has some good work forechecking, pressuring the Detroit players in their zone, kept the puck moving, and it was Kapanen parked in front of the net who buried it for the quick lead. But on a harmless looking play, shot bobbled by Sparks trickled in for the equalizer. Leafs with a bit of bad luck, picking up back-to-back penalties. First, Nylander whacks a Detroit player in the face as he's falling down, and while shorthanded, Marner gets called for holding the stick. Luckily, some key blocks by the Leafs allow them to hold the Red Wings to just 1 shot in the power play. Gardner had 2 pretty clear giveaways in the periods, and the Leafs managed just 3 shots. Also, the Leafs couldn't draw a penalty despite several protests from the crowd. And in the last minute, on a delayed call, the Red Wings scored to take the lead. In the second, Detroit kept up their advantage in the shots department and increased their lead to 3-1. Seemed to wake up the Leafs though. Fourth line worked very well together. Gauthier was super pumped up to score for the first time in forever, and gave Trevor Moore his first NHL point. Right after, Riley tied it all up at 3 after jumping in on the play and some sick move by Tavares, who was credited with the assist. Leafs managed to draw their first power play late in the period, but couldn't capitalize. They got another power play chance in the third, but the best they could manage was a redirect from Kadri off the crossbar. Red Wings took advantage of a large rebound with about 8 minutes to go to take the lead. Leafs pulled the goalie early and had a couple decent shifts. Took the timeout. 7.6 seconds to go and Gardner blasted a last chance shot from the point. Tavares managed to deflect for the equalizer. Overtime again between these two teams. Tavares and Marner had some great chances, but it was the following shift that Kapanen danced all over the ice, threw a weak backhand on net, and that was the winner through the 5-hole. So that concludes the 9-0-1 run to celebrate the Leafs' recent streak at home. It's a well-deserved break. Enjoy the World Juniors starting up in BC. I'm heading in to get some leftovers.